In the beginning of the 1870s, a horrifying operation began called residential schools, which were established to assimilate Aboriginal children into Euro-Canadian culture. The procedure which shortly followed when the Indian Act began traumatized children due to both physical and sexual abuse, and along those lines, around 6,000 children died while attending the schools. In my eyes, I see all the actions done in the system were not to educate, but to unnecessarily vanish a child of their true self by brutally beating them, and that is never okay.
Left a hole. The tightrope that I'm walking.
A key goal of the system included separating children from their families and communities. The priests and nuns who worked in the schools, which were ran by churches of various denominations, often used the phrase, "kill the Indian in the child." Not only is it, in my opinion, and I'm sure others as well, very unfair, but extremely rude to refer Aboriginals to Indians.
And sing slow.
The schools most often had priests and nuns working in it, but along with the system, the Canadian government was involved as well.
Chaos as it swirls.
The system was a positive thing for some children, but unfortunately, horror experiences overruled. The children didn't understand why they were there, and they were forced to speak a language they had no memory or education of, and to me, that is saddening.
Friend, my drunken as a Daniel in a lion's den.
If the children used anything of their previous self/culture, like their language, they would immediately be punished with some form of abuse. The main injustice of this act was the assimilation of culture in a child, both female and male.
Float away, fly up to the surface and just
The very last residential school didn't close its doors until 1986. Residential schools are to never be used again nowadays with the proper knowledge of how much damage it caused the Aboriginal people. When the Aboriginal people wanted to put it to a stop, they sued workers of residential schools, owners, and more.
slow.
The damage it has done can cause some families to abuse their own children with the trauma and fear the system had once and still causes them. Residential schools have mostly affected people negatively. The kids that attended, which are now adults who have families, may abuse their children because of the abuse they were caused in the schools. They could also have mental health issues and/or addictions to drugs or alcohol. For other families, this may not affect them at all because they had a positive impact, making it a cool story to tell.
Through chaos as it swirls, and it's us against the world.